Hello, Garland Nixon here, hanging out with Steve Poikonen. There's a whole lot of craziness going on, and we're going to talk about it. Let's talk. Hello, Garland Nixon here, and man, I'm crooked as a rattlesnake here. What the heck is going on? All right, Steve Poikonen, Garland Nixon, lots of stuff going on, and we're going to get to the bottom of it. Steve, how all goes in the Steve Poikonen universe?
Oh, pretty good, man. Pretty good. I'm doing well. I'm enjoying what summer in California, which happens at the end of February, early March, and then we'll go back to winter until about mid August or early. Yeah. So yeah, hey, yeah, doing well. Got to see good live stand up comedy since we talked last. Enjoy that.
Oh, that's always good. Yeah, same here. It is. Let's see. I'll put it to you like this. I'm in Maryland. It was 84 yesterday. It's about 80 today. And then I think next week there's going to be one day when it's 36.
That sounds about right.
Yeah,
It
so
does. It does.
yeah, so that's what we get. But at any rate, so let's get going. A couple of things. One of the things that I think is very interesting, and it is an article that we have, and it's from Active Spot. UAA spy chic, right? So UAE, United Arab Emirates, spy chic, and a place where I had probably not real having a lot of fun if you're there right now. Bought secret 49% stake in Trump crypto company, according to World Liberty Finance. World Liberty Finance. Here's the interesting thing about it. You know, people talk about Trump being compromised and so, with Epstein or whatever. Here's the thing. I think when it gets to the level of President of the United States, whether it's Biden Incorporated, you remember Biden Inc., the Biden family making money everywhere they could, that it's not a matter of where like Epstein has to have pictures of you with something. It's like a NASCAR driver that has like all of the companies that they work for all over them. They just don't put so needless to say, 49% of his company, it's influence peddling. What do we know about this?
Without a doubt. And so this has its roots in, of course, the AI race, right? And Donald Trump couldn't dedicate a certain amount of taxpayer money just for NVIDIA chips. No, that would be probably something that any other member of Congress or president would do. Donald Trump, he's a visionary. He's a man with a plan, and that plan is to line his pockets and his family's pockets with as much money as humanly possible before they're ran out of the United States on a rail and safely to the Trump International Hotel and Casino in Gaza, where he's president of the Board of Peace for life. But this is a quid pro quo investment in World Liberty Financial, which is the Trump family cryptocurrency venture. Ostensibly, the Trump specific crypto world gets NVIDIA chips, which is what is needed to power all of this stuff in the first place. The guy who is the UAE's number one spy, their spy chief, he gets a 49% stake in the company, and everybody's happy. This is wow. Again, the $10 billion of US taxpayer money is sitting in a bank in Qatar for the Board of Peace. Donald Trump is really establishing his post-presidency life in the Middle East. And there seems to be almost an unlimited supply of money for him over there.
Well, and here's the thing: you look at it, and okay, Trump starts a crypto company. It's just a money laundering company. Do you remember one of the things that happened when Trump comes in? He says, we're putting $500 billion in the AI, right? Well, and he loves crypto. So the bottom line is this. Okay, Trump starts a company that's worth, it's a crypto company, really. If he's not the president of the United States, it's worth bupkis. It's worth nothing, zero. It's worthless. But because he's the president of the United States and he can have $500 billion go into AI, guess what? It's worth a fortune. $500 million is a down payment. 500 million is influence operation. When there's 10 billion floating around, rest assured, this guy's going to make sure and it's probably a group of investors put that money together. Here's 500 million, and they know they're going to get their fair share. They didn't do it because of Trump coin, which was kind of a pump and dump anyway. I mean, they already made, don't get me wrong, they already made their money with the pump and dump, but this is nothing but an investment.
Yeah, well, it's an investment, and it's also a way to not, as you were saying, influence peddle, but the money comes from the UAE Sovereign Wealth Fund. The spy chief, the spy sheik, as he's called over there, Sheikh Tanoon bin Zayed Al Nahyan. He's also, and she's not only is he in charge of the UAE's intelligence services, he's in charge of the Sovereign Wealth Fund, which I would imagine is a pretty cush job if you can get it. So this is influence and intelligence peddling. There's no Western-backed intelligence force in the Mideast that isn't lousy with MI6 and Mossad along with it. So this is a way for the good old boys club in the Anglo-American establishment to regain a real physical presence and foothold back in the Middle East like they haven't had for a century or so.
Well, now, whenever I read articles, I have to critique them. This is an interesting article, and the article is, I can't see who wrote it. Doesn't matter where they got it from or who wrote it. They may have brought it on from someplace else. But anyway, it says it's stunning. Struck a deal with the head of security, the quid pro quo, blah, blah, blah. And why is Trump unequally yoked with one of the worst violators of human rights in the world? Wait a minute. Unequally yoked? The United States? Why? And he says, if you dance with the devil, your clothes will get burned. Yeah, but if the devil dances with the devil, then nobody gets burned. So even the person that writes this article, there's a certain level of propaganda there because it implies that the UAE does human rights violations. Now, what have we seen time and time again? The United States gets some poor slob who's done nothing wrong. He's, I don't know, an olive farmer who doesn't know anything. They take him to one of these sheiks such as this, and they say, torture this guy till he talks. And if he doesn't talk, who cares? Just kill him, right? So we torture. We hand people over for torturing. We massacre people by the hundreds of thousands. And then somebody has the nerve to write an article that says, he's a human rights violator. We're unequally yoked with human rights violators. So I'm like, dude, the writer of this article, yeah, thank you for the information. But I'm supposed to believe that you're not some kind of a propagator of propaganda. Oh, my gosh, we're hanging out with people who violate human rights. The United States? Unthinkable. Meanwhile, ICE is running around beating the hell out of people, shooting women in the face, blasting some guy laying on the ground with a legal weapon, but we can't be unequally yoked with human rights violators.
Wow. I mean, look, have you seen the way they violate the human rights in the United Arab Emirates? Totally much more grotesque than the way the US or the UK or, India or any empire or any authoritarian regime has ever violated human rights. This is just, and look, artistic license aside, it's one of those things where you can just watch the corruption at hand in real time and understand fully that, especially if you're coming from a place where you come from the right and you've been realizing over the last couple of years that MAGA may not exactly have your best interests at heart. Like now more than ever is it evident, front and center. There's America First was a bumper sticker, and if you bought one and if you bought it, that's all you bought. was a bumper sticker, and that's as much as the slogan is worth, because this administration has made it clear from day one when they said, oh yeah, we're going to invest $500 billion in, Stargate mRNA technology with all of the people that my base said they hated. I'm going to give them $500 billion, you guys' money, so they can go play chemistry god and tell you what you can and can't put in your body. Thank you for the votes. Thank you for that. That was neat. That was fun, suckers. Now let's see what else we can do. Oh, I know. Let's invade a few countries, unleash the shock troops on the domestic population while we increase domestic surveillance, while we're putting the squeeze on everyone economically. Garland, you know as well as I do that the price of the pump right now, today, and for the last week has nothing to do with oil shipments. It has nothing to do with the ability to get refined oil to those gasoline pumps. This is early onset price gouging in order to line people's pockets, a couple of them, and squeeze every last little bit in, I guess, nickel now, because we stopped making pennies. Every last little shiny nickel out of us, before they have a nice little reset at the end of however many years it takes to grind out through whatever they're going to turn this conflict into.
And how about this? For those who are shocked, you see all of these people like, I can't believe it. Trump screwed us. I can't believe he did the opposite. I can't believe he's an Israeli puppet. Well, here's the picture. You know where this picture's from? It's from the 2024 GOP convention. You remember that convention? There was more Israeli flags there than it was American flags. It was Israel, Israel. We are here for Israel. You listen to it's always like some Republican like, yes, I ran for office. Why? So I could stand for Israel. What are you here for? To help Israel. They literally tell you, screw you, vote for me, I ain't working for you. And then you're like, I'm kind of shocked. I may be wrong, but it appears that they're doing exactly what they told me we were going to do. What a surprising thing.
I mean, we've talked for years, but back in the good old critical hour days, about how the prerequisites for a position in the Trump administration are unyielding loyalty to Trump, no matter what he says or does, and unyielding loyalty to Israel, no matter what Israel says or does. And you have, as the Secretary of War, incurious, sort of fanatic in Pete Hegseth, who's a Third Temple accelerationist. Have you seen the video of him at the King David Hotel in Jerusalem back in 2018 when he was just a talking head on TV, like going into detail about the reality of them seeing the Third Temple being built in the next several years? Like, this is way before there was even a whisper that he had political ambition. He was just Pete on the TV, throwing axes at, the random marching band member. You saw that clip, right?
No.
We should go find it.
You gotta find that one.
Yeah,
well,
because
go ahead.
I was to say, back when Pete was on Fox News, they gave him a, hey, you're a big buff, former military guy, right? You would probably love to get involved in an axe throw on freaking television. I'm going to go ahead and drop that clip in the private chat for you, Garland.
Okay. Or you can just click present. I think you can do it, but I'll go to private chat.
Yeah, I'll bring it up on the share screen for sure.
There you go.
Here we are. Yeah.
All right.
This is the right way to throw an axe.
No, it is all right up.
And this was a Fox News exclusive. Fox and Friends co-host Pete Hegseth aiming for accuracy and missing.
Who's going to win this battle with the lumberjacks? That's coming up next.
What you didn't see on air is what the axe hit, or should we say who? Drum roll, please. West Point marching band drummer Jeff Prosperi got Next, while the other band members kept drumming. Ouch! But soon after, Prosperi was being interviewed by the very co-host who nailed him.
That's so on brand. So
Yeah.
on brand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's perfect. So an axe thrower. Well, let me read this. This is really going to shock people. I have a revelation from this article that's going to shock people. The company counts President Donald Trump and his special envoy, Steve Witkoff, as co-founders emeritus and is run by members of the Trump and Witkoff family. I wonder if a guy named Kushner could possibly, well, he is a member of the Trump family. And everybody says, you know what? Why does Trump send Kushner and Witkoff everywhere? Well, I mean, that doesn't make sense. They're not members of because they're members. This is the money laundering thing. When they touch down, buddy, they got their head out. Who wants a deal? Anybody? Put some money in my hand. Hey, yes, we'd like to get a deal with the United States, sir. You're gonna have to put some money in my hand. My palm's dry. Could use some grease on that old palm there. It's obvious. He's got basically this guy cranks up a new crypto company and then says, America is going to invest in crypto. Crypto's the way to go. And now here's my crypto guys. I'm going to send them around the world to get us paid. That's all it is. Remember, they went over there and they're like, we're working on a $12 trillion deal with the Russians or something like that. Remember that? They're supposed to be getting this deal with the Russians and blah, blah, blah. All they're over there doing is trying to get some money in their hands. How pathetic is that?
Well, I mean, it's how business has been done in that part of the world since that part of the world had people in it. It's really, this is the most obvious it's ever been that the federal government is a mafia. It's a organized criminal organization, and they're sending Nepo son-in-law and like his creepy uncle out, as you said, hat out. Hey, who wants to make a deal? Who's looking to make a buck? We're looking to do some business. We talk to the money. And so whoever the money is, that's who we're talking to. So just let us know who wants to have a conversation. And it's as, I guess, caricature-esque as any corny mafia film. It's as stereotypical as everything we've ever heard or read or seen on TV about organized crime, and they're doing it right in front of everybody's face 24 hours a day, because the institutions that currently exist have to be destroyed in order to effectively achieve a reset. So of course, Fat Nero is the president. Of course, his creepy little Nosferatu looking son-in-law is wandering all over the Middle East, planning on building hotels and casinos and resorts on the bones of slaughtered Palestinians. Of course, because how else are you going to get people to go, all right, never again are we ever going to even try anything remotely like this? Give us the robots. Give us the one world government. We done messed up too much. You can't trust them. We've proven that. Give us the future Joe Rogan demanded.
Exactly. You say you won't eat bug flour. You will if there's nothing else to eat. And I love this. The White House spokesman told the Journal that, quote, there are no conflicts of interest. She added that Witkoff is working to, quote, advance President Trump's goals of peace around the world. Whoa, man, I wonder how that goal. So that's his goal, huh? Now, if Witkoff was working on his goal, I'll put it like this. Let's look at the various goals that Donald Trump would have and see which ones Witkoff is really able to deliver on. Goal number one, advance peace around the world. Goal number two, fill his stinking greedy pockets with $500 million from sheiks in the Middle East. I'm just thinking, which one of those whichever one he has had the most success with is the one I'm going to assume was actually the real goal the whole time. How about that?
It is some sideways and circuitous logic you have there, Garland. But I see a glimmer of a point there. You might be onto something. You might be. I remember when crony capitalists were like derided by generally everyone. And it seems like Trump 2.0, they came in and they said, no, look, you guys don't understand. We're the oligarchs and we're in charge and we don't care what you say. Yes, you're right. America is a kakistocracy. Yes, it is. Of course it is. It always has been. Why hide it anymore? Have you seen the kind of fun we're having on the island? Oh, that's right. You have. We gave you 3 million documents all at once to have a mass collective trauma experience, and then nothing's going to happen. If anything was going to happen, there'd be more than like a spontaneous 40-person where's the accountability for the Epstein files protest. But because protest, by and large, and Garland, you and I know this better than most, it is in and of itself an industry in the United States. There is a protest and, basically like industrial complex, an activist industrial complex that exists to siphon off all of the legitimate energy and anger from the people in this country. And so that's why you don't see massive Epstein protests. You see all the no kings and the indivisible this and the whatever that, everybody's got the same sign. Everybody's got matching t-shirts. They all know what the chant is. It's all down. And nothing ever happens when you get those groups together. But if you had millions of groups of 40 people going, where's the freaking accountability for the Epstein files? That would rattle them.
Well, this is what I love. The deputy attorney, Todd Blanche, defended the president on ABC's This Week. Now, this is an interesting defense, and I got to give him credit. He says, I love it when these papers talk about something being unprecedented or never happening before, as if Biden family and the Biden administration didn't do exactly the same thing. And they were just in office. What's interesting, he says they did the same thing. And I'm like, well, do you think they did? Now, I mean, unless somebody believes that Hunter Biden's paintings weren't actually worth $800,000 each. That if he just had to do that, or that he wasn't the second coming of, I don't know, of Leonardo da Vinci or somebody that, I mean, let's face it, Michelangelo, he wasn't, but he could get $800,000 for those paintings. But what Trump is saying is $800,000, dude, you people are like, come on, I'm getting $500 million and I don't even have to do a painting. And now I'll just send Wickoff and Kushner around the world, and they're like a collection agency. Oh man, you want some NVIDIA chips, huh? Yeah, I can make that happen for you. Hey, what you working with? Got 100 million? No, I've only got 50 million. Get it up to 75. You got NVIDIA chips. Okay, that's what they're walking around. They're walking around. What is it that you need? Well, we'd like to have a government overthrow of the country next to us. Really? How big's the country? What's security look like for the president? Okay, all right. That's going to be about 80 million. Hold on, let me make a call. President, yeah, okay, yeah, we need the Marines, won't we? Okay, how much extra for 2 more destroyers and B-1 bombers? That's for 2.5. The president says he can do it for $89.9 million. Now, if you take the deal today, it's on special. We'll give you 8.9 million off. That's 10%. But if you wait till if you don't take the deal today, then it's going to go up to 92 million. So what do you say? Take it or leave. That's what they're doing. Government overthrows, drugs. Oh, you got some drugs you need moved now. Okay, well, we got to get a piece of that pie. $100 million worth of drugs. Yeah, we want 50%.
Mm-hmm.
That's the game. And I'm not being facetious.
No, everywhere Wickoff and Kushner go, they each have a half a dozen of the largest, craziest looking psychos from Academy or whatever, Eric Prince rebranded his PMC outfit to. Half a dozen of those goons with them. And it's not even, you have until the end of the day to make the decision. You've got until Mongo over there finishes his cigarette, Jodie Foster and Taxi Driver style. Like you got, when this is out, deal's up. So what do you think about, by the way, he's going to light it off of a 7-year-old that he found wandering around your house. Yeah. So, how about a deal?
Now, here's something great. Let's see. This is a great article too. Viral quitter porn addiction app exposed the masturbation habits of hundreds of thousands of users. Quitter, an app that promises to help men stop watching porn, and leaked intimate data on hundreds of thousands of its users, including their masturbation habits, and lied about its security issues. So there's an app that's supposed to help people quit porn. And I guess they must have to put stuff in there that says how often they masturbate or something like that. And then this
the
is
type of stuff they watch and how it makes them feel and all that kind of stuff. I read the dude's shout out to the people from 404 Media. They do fantastic work. If you're not hip to what they do, 404media.co. It is behind a paywall, a lot of it. And I go to Archive PH to avoid that. But they do great work. And I read Buddy's first report. Yeah, it's like it's almost like a therapy thing. Like the app, based on what you like, where your mind frame is at and all that kind of stuff, the app like tailors responses to talk you out of what is honestly for a lot of people a crippling addiction. And so the irony here is, you go to the app for help and the app itself is leaking the data. It doesn't say it was hacked.
Oh my God.
Somebody within Quitter leaked the data.
Oh my gosh. So somebody's going to write in, oh, I'm doing this and that. I'm watching this and that. I'm doing all of this stuff. And somebody and I wonder if, first of all, if somebody in Quitter, I don't know, maybe was paid to leak the data. Somebody in Quitter, maybe when they came in Quitter, worked for somebody else who we didn't know they really worked for, such as, I don't know, Unit 8200 or CIA or something. That's the other thing. You get these things like somebody says, hey, I got an idea. What? I got this porn app that exposes, will get everybody's masturbation habits and lots of embarrassing things about people. And some guy in a nicely pressed pair of khakis with a 3-button shirt and, a nicely good haircut and all that just happens to walk in, that sounds like a great idea. I'm a investor. Yeah, that's the ticket. I'm an investor and I got lots of money. Would you like to do that? I'd like to come in and help you do it. I can even help you write the code. I got friends. Oh, that's a good idea. Let's call it the Quitter Porn app. Yeah, perfect. It'll be very secure. I think that kind of crap happens.
Yeah. Well, and according to the article, there's a thing called the app mafia. Mm-hmm. A group of men in their early 20s claim to have made millions on app development. Got a profile in New York Magazine, even all that kind of stuff. But yeah, effectively what they're doing is kind of playing fast and loose with app development, getting it to market as quick as possible. And then if and when anything goes bad, they just hide behind legal demons and wait until people run out of money.
Right. And the thing about it is these apps, I always think in the app world, right, that there's probably just a lot of bad actors there because, using apps and getting apps on people's phone is a good way to get people's information. It's a good way to get compromising information. It's a good way, to infiltrate. And I just think that in the app world, there's a lot of so-called innocent apps, and particularly one like this. I mean, it's almost like asking to be Epstein. I downloaded an app. What do they want? Oh, they want to know the most embarrassing stuff about me that I would never, ever want to get out. Gee, do you think that's a good idea? Oh, yeah. Look, there's a field for me to fill in right there. What did you do embarrassing today? I did this. Do you have anything? Like, they literally should come up with an app that says, okay, the only thing you do in this app is fill out the most embarrassing things that people could use to compromise you with. Now, if you're out dating with someone, like you're cheating on your girlfriend or your wife, we want a picture of her. You would put that in there. Let us know where you went, how much money you spent. And meanwhile, just leave it on so you can record all the things that you and her are saying. Then perhaps if you violate the law, make sure you put which violations you did, We'd appreciate that. We've got a search. So if you did things that may be a violation of the law, you put it in the search field and we'll tell you if you're violating the law, and then we'll document that for you. Just do everything you can to completely screw yourself. We'll call it the screw yourself and hand your information over to the feds app. It's great.
I got it. Snitcher.
Yeah, there we go.
It's the Snitcher app.
There you go. Snitch on yourself.
Snitch on your friends, your family, snitch on everyone. In fact,
There we go.
We'll have a direct, never closed pipeline to the NSA at all times with the Snitcher app. If you live close to a local FBI field office, don't worry, buddy. You're gonna be having lots of friends.
Exactly.
This is one leak, right? And I guess whoever 404 contacted with it and was had on the actual let's view the data research in, they could see over 600,000 people's information, all of it sensitive. And then according to the article, 100,000 or so of the people whose information was exposed to this, minors.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Remember what was that Ashley Madison app?
Oh yeah.
And it was okay, this is for people who want to cheat. Trust us. Information will ever get out. And then they had it around till they got everybody's information on it. And then they're like, oops, everything got out.
Yeah.
But so people were Epsteining themselves. Hey, let me join this website. I would never want anybody to find out. A minute. Click, 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 click. What's your name? Upload a picture of yourself. What are your deviant sexual habits? Oh boy, let's see. Donkeys. You know what I mean? Hot air balloons. Oh boy. You put all this shit in, and then they're like, oh crap. Oh man, this thing got leaked, man. But for a nominal fee, we can search it all down and make sure nobody gets. I mean, come on, people. What are you doing?
Just look at. I will fully agree with the idea of helping people free themselves from any addiction, right? I don't care if it's drugs or booze or gambling or pornography. I'm for people getting help for that. That's what makes us so nefarious in the first place. But don't go to don't download an app for that. Don't ask the robots for that. It's you're gonna bite yourself in the ass. Don't do it. Avoid it if at all possible.
Here's something great. I'm sure you'll love this one. MAGA lawmaker, what has to be MAGA, claims Trump administration halted previous search of Epstein's Zorro Ranch. House Oversight Committee James Comer alleges federal investigations, federal intervention to block the search of the late pedophile's the late intelligence operative's desert homestead in 2019. My thing's spinning on me. There we go.
Yeah, you're in and out a little bit. Got some robot voice in an elevator underwater. There we go. Now? No? Maybe. There we go. Now we're back.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
There was so many advertisements on that thing that it just wrecked us. But the bottom line was, what they're saying was that during the Trump's recent his first term, that there was an attempt to do an investigation into Epstein's Zorro Ranch, and that shocking, the feds blocked it. Why the feds blocked it? Because they were on the Zorro Ranch. Because it was the feds' Zorro Ranch. It would be like saying, "What are you going to do? We're going to come inspect the FBI building to see if we can find any criminal activity." No, you can't do that.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, up until fairly recently, and during the primetime activity on Zorro Ranch, the governor was Epstein files frequent mention Bill Richardson of New Mexico, who was also Clinton's agriculture secretary or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. He was one of those secretaries.
Yeah, I know he had a cabinet level position. I can't remember what it was offhand, but he was also former governor of New Mexico, and one of the people that was supposedly very frequently on Epstein Island. So anybody that was connected to the Richardson political machine, even after he had departed both office and Earth, would have been roped into that Epstein nexus as well. That's how that operated. And don't forget that Zorro Ranch is conveniently located between Santa Fe, New Mexico, which is a huge intelligence community hub in and of itself, and the Los Alamos nuclear test facility.
And in fact, where's this? Genie, you ever heard of Genie Energy?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let's see, Genie Energy Company leaders. Let me see if I can find it. Our management, Genie Energy Company. I don't see it anymore, but there was a Genie Energy was a company that was started. Let's see. Genie Energy Company. Let me find it. Bill Richardson, Dick Cheney. Let me see if I can find something there. Oh, here we go. Genie Energy Company. Let me find it.
Oh, that was the thing with James
The board is
Woolsey too, right?
Yes. Energy Strategic Advisory Board is Dick Cheney, Rupert Murdoch, James Woolsey, Larry Summers, Michael Steinhardt, Jacob Rothschild, Mary Landrieu. Well, a name that's not on it anymore that was Bill Richardson. But think about this. Dick Cheney, Rupert Murdoch, Larry Summers, Jacob Rothschild, Mary Landrieu, but was a Democrat, former, I think, senator from Louisiana, I believe, right? What you had Democrats, you had Republicans, etc. But that was the game. That was the game. There's a Rothschild on there now, clearly. Now think about this. Epstein said, I work for the Rothschilds, didn't he? Oh, by the way, wasn't Larry Summers a Epstein pal? These are Epstein pals and friends and buddies.
Larry Summers had to resign from Harvard over his connections to Epstein. How many times his name? Yeah.
So what you saw was Bill Richardson. Now it makes sense because Richardson and all of his were Epstein boys. And where does he put the ranch? He puts it in Bill Richardson's state. And Bill Richardson's a regular visitor there. So you see what I mean? You think Epstein wasn't involved with Genie Energy? Of course he was. The Rothschilds were involved. You think he didn't go around advocating for Genie Energy? We have 3 million. We have 3,300,000 documents at minimum that we're never, ever going to see.
Yeah. Minimum. And not that anybody wants to see unredacted video of minors or people getting assaulted, but you should damn sure unredact the names of the predators. Like that would be cool too, and they're not going to do that.
Yep. Let's see. The chair of Genie Energy is Effie Item, Israeli, born in a kibbutz. Married, lives in an Israeli settlement, so he's a Israeli settler. He was a brigadier general in the IDF. Let's see, I will guarantee you this. Let's see. After his retirement, he was in the National Religious Party. And he became the Minister of National Infrastructure. So what you have is a company, Genie Energy, who's run by the likes of Jacob Rothschild, Dick Cheney, former a CIA guy, James Woolsey. I mean, on and on and on. And then, of course, and Larry Summers. And then I don't know why Bill Richardson's name used to be in there, but his name is gone from Genie Energy. But clearly, so what you see is this. This is the Epstein thing, man. And now
Yeah.
we're supposed to believe that they're going to search the Epstein ranch. What a joke.
It's I mean, they searched it, they had New Mexico Sheriff's Department, law enforcement, so, but we're also talking about the property has been vacant for, years and years. It was just bought recently by a guy in Texas who just got elected to office. I don't know if we talked about that or not.
No.
He wants to turn it into a Christian camp, Garland,
Oh, what do you know?
because nothing says we are done using this place to cover up for child sex crimes like turning it into a religious camp. But yeah,
I love this. The search does not appear to have been conducted under a warrant and was likely carried out voluntarily. Yeah, it's owned by Don Huffins, a Dallas real estate millionaire and former Texas state legislator who is running for Texas comptroller. He
Just
wants
won.
to be in charge of the money.
yeah, it's a good gig if you can get it.
Yes. If you have information, I love this. If you have information that may assist this investigation, we encourage you to submit a tip using the form below. Well, wait a minute. Here's what we know. I watched Congress, and when they were talking to the women who were victims, and they said, did any of you guys call like the FBI? And all their hands went up. How many of you were contacted by the FBI? And no hands went up. So now they're saying, if you have information, submit a tip using the form. Now, if women come to you and say, I was beaten, raped, I saw murder, I saw crimes of every manner here, and you don't investigate it, you really expect that a tip line is going to make a difference? The only thing that they're going to do is this. If somebody says, yeah, here's my information, and here's a tip that I have, I was there, they're going to say, great. Then they're going to call the hit guys. Hey, we got somebody, a snitch, go take care of them. You're just giving them their information. Yes. I used to work on the Zorro ranch, and I saw this, and this. Oh, you did you? We'll be on it right away. Next thing you know, where's Garland Nixon? Well, I don't know. He filled out this thing that said he used to work at the Zorro ranch, and sent in some information for the tip line. And next thing you know, he was involved in a small plane accident.
Yep. Yeah. He suffered a shark attack while camping in Oklahoma.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Darndest thing. A Oklahoma river shark. Never saw it coming.
And he was bitten by a rattlesnake and a shark and an alligator simultaneously as he fell out as his small plane crashed
into the open mouth of a mountain lion.
Right.
It was tragic.
Yes.
We're going to miss him.
Yeah, no doubt about that. So that's it. I put it like this. Based on what I've seen of the FBI, you would have to be insane at this point. I don't care what crime you see. To go to the FBI and tell them anything, you'd have to be out of your mind, because you go on the list of snitchery.
Yep. And once you're on it, it's you're done. You're just done. You're pushing paper in some corner, of the building, 18 floors down. You found that your law degree and all of your training got you a job as an actuary for the FBI.
Didn't Trump, am I mistaken, or did Trump just make Erica Kirk like some kind of a he just appointed her to something, didn't he?
Yo, yeah. So Charlie had previously held a position appointed position on the Air Force Academy board of visitors, and basically it's like a civilian liaison office with the Air Force Academy, and they actually do set like some of the curriculum and a bunch of and Trump said, America's widow has been through enough, right? Tragic loss of husband, all that kind of stuff. Why not give her more to do so that she can spend less time with her family but more time around American pilots. So I guess I don't. I really like. I don't. I thought her 15 minutes were up, but I guess not.
Yeah,
Oh,
it'll
no.
never be up. For those who haven't seen it, look at this. Erica Kirk appointed to U.S. Air Force Board of Visitors. You know, they always come up with some crap, right? Erica Kirk, the widow of slain conservative activist, was appointed to Air Force Board. Blah blah blah. Happened quietly over the weekend. Some Republican guy says he had encouraged Erica Kirk's appointment months ago and applauded Trump for it. She's the right person to fill Charlie's place on the board and continue his work of inspiring next generation of service members and advancing the academy, whatever, right? So poor old Charlie, such as it were, looks like Erica, once he met an untimely demise, is pretty much taking his place everywhere. It looks like he's been X'd out of the picture, and they have replaced him with Erica Kirk.
Yeah, there's gonna be remember, right, like the day that Charlie Kirk got assassinated, there was almost a ready to go mural for him in Tel Aviv.
Yes, it was.
Right. So that's just the same artist is going to come by in a couple of weeks, like slowly fade out Charlie's face and start to paint in Erica's. And then, like the week after that, it won't be Charlie in a suit. It'll be Erica in a glittering pantsuit. And then slowly he'll start to add in like JD Vance and Benjamin Netanyahu, and it'll turn into like an Erica Kirk Mount Rushmore thing.
Well, you know, I saw something today where, you know, clearly their little plan to take out Iran isn't going exactly as planned, right? So I saw this thing today where Trump is starting to imply, first of all, you know, like everybody, well, what happened? Well, you know, Witkoff and Kushner, they gave me bad info. It's everybody's fault, right? But what was interesting is he's like, yeah, well, you know, JD Vance didn't exactly agree and we had some differences, but he went along with it. And I'm like, you are now know that, look, the people in charge are like, okay, we'll get Trump to do it. And Trump's fried because people are going to be unhappy, right? And then we'll start setting it up for the next guy. So now that it's completely gone to hell, now the game is simple. JD Vance was against it all along. He was in opposition to it. They already set it up because what we heard, it was reported, there were people, before it happened, there are people in the Trump administration who are pushing back. And I knew that they were talking about JD Vance. Then JD Vance comes out and says, well, then it comes out, JD Vance said, I think we should do it big. If we got to go big or small, go big. Now that it's gone, shut the hell, it's a disaster and everybody hates it. It is now Trump's job. Everybody's like, Trump's done if by getting $500 million from the UAE and retiring to Mar-a-Lago to play golf on the beach every day is done. I'll take being done, but Trump is done. So it's time to say, well, you know what? JD Vance was never for this. He opposed it this whole time. He said it was terrible. He was in opposition to it, but I ran all over him and did it. And you set Vance up, and Vance comes in as the hero. And Vance says, you know, I never wanted this to happen. Are people eating bugs yet? No. Okay, we need a couple more weeks of the Strait of Hormuz closed so they get, you know, hungry enough to start eating bugs. But anyway, by the way, I was opposed to it, right, Trump? Yeah, he was opposed to it, right, everybody? You guys already got the script. Yeah, I was the one opposed to it, right? Yeah, I was opposed to it. So let's move forward, and then I'll take over, and then 2028, I win again. That's the way I see it.
Yeah, well, they had to position somebody in the administration that way. They all campaigned for Trump as he was never going to do this. So there's audio of everybody in the Trump administration promising to, you know, the heavens and stars that Trump will never invade Iran. So it's easy to pull a clip or two, not just to JD Vance, but, you know, Tulsi Gabbard or anybody else. And so they've got it. They've got all of the B-roll of, you know, Vance doing somewhat Americanish things that don't involve him picking up a gun. Remember when he was in the military and in the Marines, I think he was a reporter.
Yeah.
He wasn't a combat soldier, you know, so he's got that artsy perspective of war, and he, you know, he understands what the troops went through because they told him about it. But he's more of a you know, an artist. He's not a killer. Of course he's gonna be against this. He's a technology guy, and he wants to help usher us into the, you know, new blockchain era of total digital slavery.
Now, here's another one that let me see. Here's what I have to say about this. USA Today, and you might have heard about this. Now, you got to be a sucker if you don't see this one coming. This is beautiful. US is on top of possible Iran sleeper cells. President Donald Trump said the administration is on top of possible Iranian sleeper cells. Yeah, they're on top of them, all right, because they work for them. Operating inside the U.S., offering details about their existence. Trump responded to a question about whether the Iranian government had activated undercover groups. Let me see. So now they're going to tell us they're undercover groups. And then when, I don't know, a hotel blows up, there's a car bomb, somebody catches on fire, there's another shooting at a gay nightclub, whatever it happens to be, right? Then they're going to say, we did everything to stop this, but they were Iran sleeper cells. I smell a false flag of epic proportions. Shit's going bad for them. They ain't looking good. The people are pissed. They need a false flag. And the Iranian sleeper cell is always there to step up to the plate when you need them.
Yeah, and Ted Cruz has been pushing the Iranian sleeper cell thing. I saw a few stories here and there on Fox News as well. We had the shooting in Austin.
Yep.
Right, where the guy had a property of Allah shirt on.
Oh yeah, that makes sense to me. Like every Muslim I've ever seen has a property of Allah shirt on, which is almost blasphemous for Muslims. But if you're getting something printed out and you're in the FBI and it's got to look good, property of Allah kind of works.
Yeah, it does. And so, I mean, and it's happening in Austin, Texas. It'll be easy to scare Texans into thinking there's a Muslim invasion. You've been telling them it was going on for the last 6 years anyway. You know, so it's all kind of rolling back into place. It was interesting to note that now the mass shooters are Muslim again.
That's right. They were all trans for a while.
Yeah, they were all
trans activists.
Yeah, now we're back to Muslims.
But they're going to have to be Iranians because before they were like ISIS kind of guys and they were Sunnis when that was what was needed because we were fighting ISIS. Now that it's Iranians, there can't be trans anymore because we don't want to get away from Iran's the bad guy. Sunni Muslims ain't going to work because we kind of fund ISIS and we put an ISIS guy in charge of Syria. So now they're going to have to be Iranians. The mass shooters are going to guaranteed they're going to be Iranians.
Or really any country that has been painted as an Iranian proxy by Western media. So it could be, they could be Sudanese, they could be Lebanese, they could be, you know, the number of different nation states.
Somalian.
Yeah, absolutely.
Somalian is good. They could be a member of some kind of Somalian terrorist group, or maybe perhaps they're Hezbollah members.
Don't get locked in trying to make it make sense, Garland. There's a lot of room to stretch it. I've seen people do it. I watched a debate yesterday where actions that were taken by the Houthis were being blamed on the Iranians. And so I mean, it's just any country that you can paint with the terrorism brush other and put into a them category is going to be good for narrative management going forward, especially as the American war machine does what it has been doing in the 21st century, which is go to places, lose, and spend a bunch of taxpayer money while they're laundering it.
And you know, if from this perspective, it's this: they're losing the war in a way. Yeah, they are. There's no question they ain't going to win this one. And they're very good at losing. You know, and then here's the other thing: the Iranians have blown up 4 of these billion-dollar radars, right? Yep, they have. And they've blown up this and that and all. And but those radars, and I heard this, the radars were a billion when they were built. It's going to be 10 times now, certainly will, won't it? So all of this stuff is blown up, huh? I guess companies like Halliburton and Kellogg Brown and Root and stuff like that they're all saying, oh man, they blew up a Halliburton warehouse in Iraq and a Kellogg Brown and Root warehouse here. And they blew up all of our stuff. God, it has to be rebuilt, doesn't it, Steve? There's a whole lot of money in rebuilding everything that got blown up, isn't there?
Oh boy, is there. And look, there's so many more places in the Mideast yet to bomb. Yeah, and there's all of Taiwan yet. Not to mention the Naftali Bennett was on Israeli TV the other day saying, hey, look, if Turkey, scratches their butt wrong, we got to invade them. We got to invade them too. And there is a nice little chunk of Turkey that's a part of that greater Israel map. So that's going to have to happen sooner or later. They're just openly saying this is about greater Israel now. The notorious settler queen, Daniela Weiss.
Yes.
Yeah, she's talking about settling in Lebanon. We've got to do that. We've been ordained to do that. So she's trying to grab a bunch of people from the West Bank right now and go into southern Lebanon. It's like I said, it's all happening mask off in front of everyone. It's like they're daring people to do something about it.
Here's one. Oh, this is a great article. Before we go, let me find it. Ooh, man, you're gonna love this. Hold on, everybody. Let me tell you something. If you're gonna go around the world and you got to run everything and you want to, tear things down and cause great harm, as Iran war escalates, Congress passes automatic involuntary draft registration. As often happens, the NDAA bill contains some of the worst language. This year's no different, with language slipped into the bill that automatically and involuntarily registers young men for the military draft. Probably on the Quitter Act, if you want the truth, with the war in Iran escalating and talks of troops needed. So now, look, there's cannon fodder needed. We're trying to build greater Israel here, for God's sake. We're going to have to attack Iran and Russia. Who the hell knows? We got to attack all these other countries, things that have to be done, people that have to be killed. So what do you know? The Congress, they hate Trump. We must stop him. He didn't make excuses. He didn't tell us. He didn't come to us and ask for permission. Trump's terrible. Hey, we need more bodies for Israeli war. We got you covered, bro. We got you covered.
Yep. Which is wild to me too. They just draft a bunch of people to make them drone operators. Stick them in Gundam suits or something. That would be kind of cool. It's not. I mean, a little cool. But no, Caroline Levitt alluded to this on Laura Ingram's show over the weekend as well, because Ingram flat out asked her, like, is Trump going to, is this going to require a draft? And she was like, well, we're not taking anything off the table, and we're not going to make those declarative kind. I know you media people love that, but we're going to be smart over here. And it's like, well, yeah, if they feel like it, if all the other forms of depopulation and demasculation reverse course somehow, yeah, absolutely, they'll throw a bunch of pissed off, full of testosterone 19-year-olds into the meat grinder. Yeah.
Well, if it makes anybody feel any better, I think that the Democrats will fight him on that bill, because they'll say, look, we have one problem. They're going to say, what? You guys have forbidden trans people in the military. And damn it, trans people get to go out and get torn and thread by shrapnel like everybody else. So the Republicans are going to fight them. They say, we're going to all for that. This is a great bill, but you've forbidden trans people in the military, because the Democrats, if it's one thing they're standing up for, it's trans people in the military. Everybody has to have a fair chance to do it. They could care less about any other rules. Like if some trans person gets beaten to death and they want a law that says, hey, so that you can't beat trans people to death, to hell with that. Now, a bathroom bill or something, they'll talk about that. But the fight for trans people, I guarantee you that the fight of the century for trans people will be the Democrats arguing they must be included in the cannon fodder bill.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's it's inclusive. It is American to want to be able to serve your country. Who are we to deny anybody the opportunity to travel to exotic places and meet new and interesting people and shoot them in the face
Exactly.
for a banker.
Yeah, exactly. There we go. So that's the cannon fodder bill. The Congress, it's the automatic involuntary draft registration. Back in the day, you had to have to register. Now, no, look, that's a lot of hard work. We got to look out for these young people. We don't need them to have to go through all the work of registering. They'll just send a letter that says, oh, by the way, report to your nearest military base tomorrow, and you're going to get an open. How long am I going to be? How long will I be in there in the military until you die? How long is that? We're estimating about 2 months.
Yeah, we're gonna 6 weeks maybe, but
Exactly.
yeah, you're on the accelerated Ukrainian frontlines program.
Exactly. Well, all right, dude, I'm going to get running. What I got so much going on, for God's sake. But by the way, where can everybody find you in your fine works?
AM Wake Up over on Rumble and BitChute and Odyssey and on the Independent News Network Twitter. And yeah, content 7 days a week, never a dull moment. Best damn morning show on the interweb, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. on the West Coast, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on the East Coast.
All right, Steve Poikonen. Thanks a lot, everybody. Everybody who can, I thank you for contributing, keeping the show going. There's my P.O. box and all that stuff. Share this on all your social media platforms. We're out. If I can ever find out how to get out.